Everyone, so I'm going to show you how to pick up your provincial stitches that you cast on for your underarm area, and then how to pick up side stitches in this area in such a way that you don't have to sew that hole close, because this area tends to stretch and stuff like that. All right, so we begin by undoing this little knot here. I'm sorry for all the noise in the background. The small one is watching her TV programs, and hell hath no fury like a baby who can't watch the baby club. Hold on, this is being a little bit more difficult than I wanted to. Where is it? There it goes. All right, so if this was done correctly, then I should be able to just get to an area. There we go. And then pull it loose, but apparently it's the other side that has... Oh, that's fun. All right, so this is actually the end I need to undo, because you should be able to just undo the thing and pull it like you were pulling out some crochet stitches, and it should pop it out. There it goes. Or not. What is going on here? There it goes. Now, if you did it right when you cast on, you should just be able to completely pull this area. And then have your live stitches. So I'm just going to go ahead and... and you just pull it out, and you put your live stitches from the provincial cast on back onto the needle as you're pulling them off. All right. So now all my provincial cast on stitches are on the needle. All right. So I have more cast on stitches than I actually need. Actually, I need to drop this one because that's not an actual cast on stitch. All right. So if done correctly, then you should have been easily able to pick up all your stitches. All right. We're only going to have I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm ridiculous tired at the moment. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the sides of my needles, and I'm going to take this part and just move them over without knitting them. Actually, did that just drop? Yep. All right, I'm going to move over half of the stitches. So I have 5 stitches moved over. And if now, according to my counter, my pattern, I should have 5 stitches on this side, so I need to move one more over. All right, so now I'm going to get my active piece of yarn, and I'm just going to knit after placing a marker. So this is going to be my center underarm seam. And then I'm going to pick up and knit the other portion. So we go in and knit, making sure that my stitches are oriented correctly. So I don't need my tail. Drop that forward, bring this up, knit through these ones. All right. Now, in this area, we're going to pick up extra stitches to close it. The reason we do this is if you don't, you have a large hole. I'm sorry, let me make sure you can see. Because, see, that's where your last provincial stitch is, and then this is where your held yarn is. So that leaves a giant gaping hole right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up this stitch here, and then we're going to knit that onto, pick it up from behind, I'm sorry. See if I can bring this up closer so you can see. Where is it? There we go. All right, so that will give you an extra stitch. So you have to remember you're going to have to decrease that down. Actually, you know what? Let's take that stitch off because that doesn't look right. All right. See, because if I pull that, that causes a large hole to begin with. It's almost like a yarn over. So what we might want to do is to twist the stitch to knit it. So you pick it, make sure it's oriented correctly, and then knit through the back, and that will help twist it to close the area. But that still looks too loose, so I think I'm going to pick up a different stitch to knit. So let's see. All right. So I'm going to move in here. I'm going to find the back leg of this stitch, which I believe is right. Where is it? There. All right. By picking up the back leg of this stitch, you close a hole a lot better. So I'm just going to pick that up and I'm going to knit it. And you see less of a hole. And then I'm going to go over to the next stitch. I'm going to skip that one and I'm going to go to this one right here. I'm going to find the back leg of the stitch, pull it up from behind, and knit it. And you see, much less of a hole. But it looks like I still have a bit of a hole here, and I don't want it to look like that. So I'm going to drop that one, and I'm going to pick up a stitch closer. Apparently, I knit something wrong here because I have a long tail end. What is going on here? What is going on? Pull this tight. All right, there we go. All right, so that one was still left a giant hole. So we're going to come up. We're going to pick this stitch here up from behind, grab it, and pull it up. Then knit. And then there, close the hole. Then we're going to go back to the other one that we determined would be too loose if we didn't have that second stitch. Pick it up from behind, pull, and knit. So, you see, Now we've knitted along this edge, and we should be able to pick up and knit the stitches that are on the waste yarn without a hole. And that'll make it so that when you knit around, there's not a hole that you have to sew in with ends. It should basically be just simple knitting, and then when you get to weaving in your ends, you only have to weave it in instead of trying to close the holes with the end. But you do have to remember, these extra stitches that you pick up, you need to decrease in the following rounds. That way you get back to your correct stitch count. So since I picked up, I want to say 2, 4, 5, I picked up 3 stitches. That means I'm going to have to decrease these 3 stitches in the next 3 rounds to get back to my my correct stitch count. And you're basically just going to do the same thing on this side, and it'll make it so that your again, you don't have a hole. And then remember, so you would be decreasing a stitch right here, and then you would be decreasing a stitch right here until you get to the correct number of stitches. Hopefully this is clear. I'm sorry if it's incoherent and rambling, and I'm just like exhausted. I have had a rough couple of days and I'm tired. If you have any questions, I'll try to clarify. Thank you.